Hello everybody, Infernape Shinjo here, and welcome to my top 10 anime of 2020. So like I kind of mentioned in my top anime of 2019, this year has been kinda crappy. What with everything going on in the real world, and then the consequences delaying anime from being released, it's been kind of a crappy year all year round. But never fear, because I'm here to bring you my top 10 anime of 2020. And like I mentioned in the last video, I am not counting sequels or anything like that. So you're not going to see Fire Force Season 2. I can't think of anything else that's continuing off the top of my head. But funny enough, I went through the list of all anime that came out this year. And no joke, I couldn't even come up with 10. I've watched a lot of anime from this year, but there are just some that I feel like doesn't even crack top 10 territory. And on top of that, because I'm recording this so early, you're not going to see any anime from the fall season, which is very unfortunate because there are a couple that I'm really enjoying. Talentless Nana, for one, I'm really liking. If you haven't watched it, watch it. But it might also be because I haven't watched as much anime from this year, but I had to pull a few strings with making this top 10. So let's get started. So up first is Diary of Our Days at Breakwater, Hokago Tibu Nishi. And it's funny because I've made multiple videos where I discuss, oh, this anime got delayed. This is the biggest one and the only one that really got delayed out of the rest of them. And I made this big thing about, I really like this anime. It's got cute girls. It's got a nice idea. I can kind of see where they're going with this. But there's a reason it's at number 10. And it's for the sole fact I still haven't finished it. And to be quite honest, I don't plan to finish it. I got through episode 5, I believe. It was episode 4 or episode 5. I could check on my mail, but I don't want to. But the last scene that I watched was the club advisor, which is eventually going to be their club advisor, just from how the story's going. She gets super drunk, and then just starts talking about, oh, you girls are so cute, and just starts getting a little bit comfy with them. So after that moment, it's just like, no, I don't like this. No, goodbye. Which, I know it's only one scene in the anime, but if she's going to be a continuing character, it's just kind of like, I get you're trying to do this for comedy, but I just don't like it. But I would have appreciated if it was just cute girls fishing, because at least with that, you get the cute girls with it. But with this, it's just like, you got a club advisor that has a thing for little girls, and I'm just like, no, do not like, do not approve. Goodbye. Going off of what I said in the last one, number 9 is Gleipnir. And this kind of has a similar issue that I had with Hokago, but I'll get to that later. But this anime is kind of mysterious. It has that whole mystery vibe, but there hasn't been a second season announced, and there's still so many questions up in the air. Now, at least with some mystery, you'd want to get some things that actually make sense, but in the last episode, I'm more confused than when I started. But on top of the fact that this anime was just kind of like super dark and edgy just for the sake of being that, it just kind of falls flat when comparing to everything else that I'm going to discuss in this video. And moreover, I don't know the background. Honestly, I don't care to know the background. But if the creator of this, or the animator, or whoever is behind this, if they want to overly sexualize Claire, who is a 17-year-old girl, 16 or 17, I'm just like, what? No, that's just weird. And don't even get me started on the scene where Claire interacts with the team leader of the group that they eventually join. That's just a whole nother level of awkward. And like, I know there's this whole different genre of sexualizing young girls. I mean, they have figures for a reason, but like, I don't want to see that. Now, I mean, I will admit that Claire is good looking, but like, she's still underage. And with everything going on in the world today, that's just like, you really want to get caught watching an anime like this? But like I said as well, it just kind of pales in comparison to everything else, because everything else has at least something that I like about it. This is just confusing. Number 8 is Toilet Bound Hanako. And it's funny, this one came out early in the year, and ever since then, I just started singing its praises because it's super cool. It's got a funny tone. It can balance that with nice drama, and especially the horror. And I still stand by that. I still say that it's a good show. But at the same time, it's got some issues. In the second half of the show, it's just like Yashiro is basically just palling around with Hanako for no reason. And it's just like Yashiro legitimately wants to learn more about Hanako, especially with all the crap that goes down. And he's just like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And it's just like, dude, can you just do it already? Can you just talk already? Because that would make things so much easier. And even at the near end of the show, those fish people are going to come to take Yashiro with them. And Hanako's just like, no, she's more than a servant or whatever. Now, I mean, I don't know. It's still a good show even with those issues. But just like, outside of that, something just doesn't sit right with me for this show. And it might be just my own personal thing. I might have just overhyped this show myself personally. Because after seeing the first couple of episodes, I really enjoyed it. And if it didn't live up to my hype, then it just wasn't good enough. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even watch 10 anime this year. So it's hard to exactly pinpoint what I didn't like about it. But just something didn't sit right. I don't know if it's the pacing. I don't know if it's just it didn't really end with the season finale that I would have preferred. I don't know. Still a good show, but just don't know what it is about it that I just couldn't put it higher. Okay, now I think from number 7 onward, we're getting into some anime that I actually enjoy. Not that I didn't enjoy the other ones, but we got some ones that have some pretty good material. And this probably isn't the best way to start it. Number 7 is Seton Academy Join the Pack. Now, this one I heard about from KG Prestige when it was still new. He was watching it. And I'm just like, okay. We got girls that literally look like animals making you question, are you a furry? Am I not a furry? Which, that itself is just like, okay. Not sure how I feel about this, but I'll give it a couple of episodes. I was sold by episode 1. It's an anime that's just dumb for the sake of being dumb. You gotta be in the mood to watch it because it's literally stupidity. Especially with Ranka. Ranka is the epitome of stupidity. Which makes sense because she's also Hanako from Asobi Asabase. And you can really tell in the voice. But like every character in here, at least from the ones that I've seen so far, are really colorful, really fun. It's just a fun time. Although there are some moments that I didn't really like Komori and her wanting to eat something that's not eucalyptus or whatever it is. And then comes to find out she ate like part of her mother or something when she was in the womb. It's kind of weird, which, I don't know. If you like it, you like it. But like, this show is fun overall. But the main reason that it's only at 7 is because I'm not finished with it. But I feel like I've watched enough of it to give a decent ranking. Also, before I go on to the next one, let me just say I appreciate the fact that the teachers are all dinosaurs. That's just peak comedy right there. Oh boy. Number 6 is Rent a Girlfriend. Now, hopefully the Let's Talk Anime episode where I discussed this is out. If it's not, I don't know. But this show is just something else. And it actually works out because I had to make a note in the Let's Talk Anime episode because I recorded that before I finished Rent a Girlfriend. But now that it's fully done, I can give my full thoughts on it. So basically, a lot of my points that I made in that video are still the same in this one. that it would be a lot quicker and a lot more easier to watch if Kazuya would just grow a backbone and be a man for once. But at the same time, I know that it's one of those anime that is literal trash, and you watch it knowing that it's trash and you enjoy it and whatever. Like, you literally have those anime that's a guilty pleasure is a good way to put it. You know that it's literally not a good anime by any stretch of the imagination, but you just enjoy watching it. But the last episode was kind of like, really, Kazuya? Because he literally confesses to Chizuru, and then he's just like, oh no, just kidding. And I'm just like, dude, you like her. Just admit it already. And there have been multiple times that they could have admitted their feelings, which it's pretty clear that Chizuru likes him too, because he's the main character. But just like, admit your feelings and just get together already. Because she's not going to be a rent-a-girlfriend soon enough. I don't know, at the end of the day, it's a good show, but it's just like, Kazuya. If it wasn't for Kazuya, and it would be somebody else that had more personality, then it would be a better show to watch, in my opinion. Also, let me take this opportunity to say that Sumi is still best girl. Sumi gang, rise up. Number 5 is My Life as a Villainess. Funny enough, we have 2 romance-based anime back to back. And this one was a surprise to me, watching the first episode. Because I think I heard there was like some hype over it before it came out. Like, the main character is a villain. That's kind of interesting. Because I don't think there have been any anime where the main character is a literal villain. I don't know if you could pull strings on like Death Note and stuff. I don't know. But like, this is a fun show. And it wouldn't be as fun if Katarina wasn't so clueless. Which is funny because I just badmouth Kazuya for being dim-witted, but I like it when Katarina does it. But it's just like the fact that Katarina is so dumb, but she gets everybody wrapped up in her harem anyway. That's just hilarious. And the fact that there's going to be a second season, great. I don't know if they announced when the second season's going to be. I would assume sometime next year, maybe 2022. Not sure. But I talked about My Life as a Villainess, or Hamefura, before. So if you wanted to watch that Let's Talk Anime episode, I can link that in the description if I think about it. But in short, my thoughts are a nice surprise. Although at the same time, there are just some moments that are kind of iffy for me. Like, I enjoy Mary as a character, but the fact that she's just like super possessive sometimes gets annoying. But I do know that all the characters have their own quirks, so not everyone's going to land for everybody. But overall as a show, it was a nice surprise. I really enjoy it. Number 4 is Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken. This might be where I start getting the dislikes, because I know that this coming out in January of this year, the instant that the first episode dropped, everybody's just saying, okay, we don't need to do anything else. This is anime of the year. Lock it in. We're done here. And I'm just like, okay, it's okay. Not personally something that I enjoy that much. I mean, I like the concept. The fact that it's literally an anime about making an anime, kind of like Shirobako. But the biggest thing that I hear people praising about this show is the animation and art style. And I'm just like, okay, I will give you that. But there's more to it than that. If it was just people praising art style and characters, for example. Although people do praise Kanamori, so technically they do praise the characters. But like, every time I hear people talk about Aizoken, they're always talking about, oh, this has great animation. And I believe I discussed this before in my 2019 anime video, where just because it's good art doesn't necessarily mean it's a good show. I mean, this is still a good show to an extent. It feels like it's kind of going a bit too slow at times, but I guess they're just hoping for a second season. I don't know. But I mean, I like the anime, but there were just some times where I'm just like, okay, move on to the next scene. I'm just tired of waiting here. I mean, the animation is good, especially in the big scenes with big imagination bursts. But I'm just like, look, people, you gotta learn to praise other stuff. Now, I'm not here saying that any of these people are wrong for praising it. It's a good show, but just from me personally, I enjoy it a little bit more than Villainess, just because it's been fun going back to week after week when it was new. But at the same time, animation isn't something that I look for when I'm watching anime. I just don't want it to get it twisted that I'm criticizing these people for praising the animation. I still like it, but it isn't all the people should be praising it about. Have I rambled enough? I think I have. Number 3 is Beaufury. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but it kind of worked. Now, Beaufury is a fun anime. I think it was either 2018 or maybe 19. I think it was 2018, where SAO GGO Gun Gale Online came out. And it was fun because, like, you get to see VR through a girl's perspective. Now, I'm not going to make any jokes about gamer girls and anything like that. But, like, it's cool to see an anime about VR where the girl is the main lead. Because 50% of the time, the guy's the main lead. And especially with Maple, it's fun to see how she cheeses her way through every single thing. Because, like, they establish that she knows nothing about games. But she just, like, aces this obstacle, goes over this obstacle, and she's literally just like, what did I just do? It's just fun to see how she goes through stuff being somebody that's not used to playing games. And I personally like the idea of having a VR anime about somebody that knows nothing about video games. Of course, I don't want this to be praising Maple only. All of her team members are pretty cool. Although some of them are kind of like the same person. Like the two short girls that have the hammers or whatever. They're basically the same person, more or less. But I mean, like, it's a fun cast of characters. I wouldn't say too diverse in characters, but it's still a fun anime. It's just fun to go back every week seeing Maple being clueless about a video game and somehow winning anyway. Number 2 is Princess Connect Redive. I don't know if anybody has watched this since the last time I discussed this. This is such a good anime. It's like Kanata no Astra in a way, where it doesn't need a second season, but where it's different from Kanata no Astra, I feel like this would be nice with a second season. Because it's basically Konosuba, but chill. Because, just like Konosuba, you got 4 team members, 1 dude, 3 girls. Although, the only catch with this is the characters are kind of swapped around. Like, you got the main dude, which I think his name is Yuki. I don't think I remembered his name in the last video, but I think his name is Yuki because that's literally Hero. No, not Yuki, Yusha. I think his name is Yusha. But then you got Pecorine, who is the best character in the show. Especially on top of the fact that she's a princess, because she is an absolute queen. But then you got Kokoro, who's the right-hand man to Yusha, which she's okay. I like her. I like the fact that she goes like the X mouth when she reacts to stuff. And then you got, what's her name? The cat. Carol. I think her name is Carol. Yeah. She has a relationship with Pecorine, or at least it's implied. Some sort of, I mean, Carol is basically there to watch over her, so I mean, technically true. But like, this anime is just fun. It's got the nice, fun comedy of Konosuba, but it's got some serious action scenes when it needs to. And like I said before, I personally feel like it's fine with only 1 season, but I wouldn't complain for another season. Number 1 is Tower of God. I was thinking about doing a fake out like I did in my top anime of 2019, where I put Tower of God at number 2, just because people talk it up so much, and then just put something else at 1. But I think the only thing that I've watched from this year that would really stand up is Redive, which is why it's at number 2. But I can't put Redive at number 1 when Tower of God's at 2. This anime is so good. I discussed this in Let's Talk Anime before, and I was like, okay, it's cool. It's got a wonky art style at times, but it's fun, so I'll keep on watching it. Although it's 6-7 months after it first came out, I think. Maybe more like 4 or 5 months. But I finally got around to finishing it, and I can honestly say it's the best anime of this year, from what I've watched. Because like I mentioned when I talked about Kimetsu no Yaiba in my other video, it has mindless violence, but at the same time it's not mindless, because you get to learn every character's backstory, you get to learn what makes them tick, what they like, what they don't like, and Bomb is an interesting character. I'm not sure how people feel about Bomb as a character, because he's basically just a stand-in to learn about the tower, but he's still a fun character at the same time. Although I did get a little bit sick of him bending over backwards to please Rachel. But like every episode that I watched, it just kept getting more and more interesting. I really like Kun as a character. Rock, I really enjoy. He's like Inosuke from Kimetsu no Yaiba that's kind of dumb at times, but is a really good fighter. Oh, and, what's her name? Endorsi. Yes, I really like Endorsi. But I think my favorite character, which is probably a lot of people's favorite character, is Yuri. I'm upset that she doesn't get to be shown as much as other ones, but I really like her character. She's got that nice spunk, and you know, sometimes it's not a bad thing to have a woman that can kick your butt. But like with every episode that I watched, I kept getting more and more invested, to the point where I'm wondering, how are they going to finish this? And then when Bam literally goes out of his way to say, hey, if Rachel and I complete this test, can we climb the tower? But Rachel is just like, no, screw you, and literally pushes him off the pedestal. And I'm just like, dude, now I can see why people talk about Rachel the way they do. Because since that last episode came out, I've heard people talk about, like, Rachel's a terrible character, like, Mommy's a terrible character and Rent-A-Girlfriend, but, like, not in a sense that they're terrible characters that they're just badly written or whatever. They're terrible characters because they are literally pieces of crap. They literally step over people just to get what they want, but at the same time, it's fun to see a character like that. And I kind of had a feeling that Rachel was going to do something like that, but I just wasn't sure when it was going to be. And then seeing how everything unfolded from before, that Rachel was there the whole time, that was really cool. And also, I'm sure that somebody else has already made this comparison. I like how Kun got betrayed by Maria, I think her name is. And at the same time, Bomb got betrayed by Rachel. So that's a cool little comparison that they have there. But like all of the friends that Bomb makes, I didn't even get a chance to go through all of them. Like Anak, the bunny rabbit dude, I can't think of his name. I think it's Head On. But like all of these characters, they are so good. And from the 2 anime that are based off of manhwa that came out this year, this and God of High School, I really prefer this. There's just something about God of High School that didn't click with me. It might be that the OP is just kind of too techno for me. But this is, in my opinion, the superior anime to God of High School. And the best anime of this year. But at the same time, don't just take my word for it. And like I said, I haven't watched every anime from this year. It's literally impossible to do at this point. And there are so many from this season that I'm missing out on. Talentless Nana, The one where the dude randomly meets a girl and decide to get married, kind of weird. But like a few anime from this season that I'm watching might qualify, but I'm running the tightrope of ranking it too soon before more episodes come out. And if I wait till later, I don't want my top anime of 2020 to be delayed like 2019's was. But that is my list of my top anime of 2020. Let me know what you think. If there's anything that you feel like I should have included or placed in a different spot, let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video. Momentai.